him, all things were created, things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or powers or rulers or authorities. All things were created by him and for him. For by him all things were created. All things. If this one single thought took your heart captive, it would drastically change the way you get up and go to work every morning. If the reality that Christ holds all authority, that all authority is found in your Savior, in your Maker, that would drastically change the way that you approach work every single day. Right? Every single day. Because it wouldn't matter if you were the head clerk, the head cashier at a fast food restaurant, or you were in the corner office of a Fortune 500 company. Because you realize that all authority on heaven and on earth is a stewardship. And I'm accountable. A great illustration of this is in the book of Daniel. A kid from Judah wins the favor of a king, one of the most powerful kings, King Nebuchadnezzar. And King Nebuchadnezzar was the king of Babylon, the Babylonian kingdom, the kingdom that conquered Judah and Jerusalem, and now, for all intents and purposes, is a superpower. And this king wrestles with his own ego. He wrestles with this passage, this fact that God, ultimately Christ, has all authority. That my abilities, that my favor, that my lordship and my leadership, all is under his umbrella. And he wrestles with this. His ego, man, you know this, that his ego wrestles with this fact, especially as he gains more influence, as he gains more power. And there's that story where Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego get thrown in the fiery furnace for not bowing down to a 950-foot gold statue of him. They said, I will not do that. I serve one God and one God alone. And no matter what, even if you throw me in the fire furnace and we all die, we will not serve you. We don't care. And that frustrates King Nebuchadnezzar so much to the point where he throws them in this fiery furnace. They come out, not a singe on their hair, not a burn on their body, and King Nebuchadnezzar has to step back and go, all authority, whether in heaven or on earth, all powers, all rulers, all authority fall under Christ's umbrella. But you know, we have amnesia, and so did King Nebuchadnezzar. Because it wasn't long before he forgot who God was and all that he contained, and so he begins to lead again arrogantly until he has this dream. And it's this dream of this massive tree, the most beautiful tree he's ever seen, and the biggest tree, and it's this huge branches, and across on the huge branches there's this beautiful, unbelievable fruit, and all the beasts of the fields are living off of this fruit. And he's having this dream, and he has no idea what it means. At the end of the dream, it says that you must cut down the tree, having no idea what that implies, and just leave the trunk. He doesn't know what it means, so he brings in Daniel, who's had just interpreted dreams several times before and has credibility with the king. And he begins to tell him this dream. And as he begins to tell him this dream, it begins to weigh on Daniel what this dream means for this king. And it's heavy. And Daniel's sitting there, and it's so heavy on Daniel that King Nebuchadnezzar starts consulting Daniel. And Daniel's like, no, I should be the one consulting you. You're the tree. You're the tree that's going to get cut down. And at the end of that dream that he had, he's reciting it to Daniel. He says this, that in my dream I heard these words, that the Most High is sovereign over the kingdoms of men, and he gives them to whomever he wishes. That the Most High is sovereign over the kingdoms of men, and he gives them to whomever he wishes. That all authority, rulers, powers, all of it is his. And that drastically, if that thought sunk into our hearts, infected our DNA as Christians, it would drastically change the way that we go to work every morning. Because we would approach it diligently, but in humility, understanding that everything that we do is on loan by God. Whether you are a single mother or a CEO, all authority, all positions and talents and training opportunities, all comes under the umbrella of Christ's authority, that he holds the key to all of it. And that's what King Nebuchadnezzar wrestled with. So much so that his lordship over the biggest kingdom is taken away for 7 years. He wanders off and eats grass like a cattle until he realizes that the Most High is sovereign over the kingdoms of men, and he gives them to whomever he wishes. That leadership is a stewardship. That your position and authority, whatever it may be, is a stewardship by God, and you are accountable. I love what he says next.